Thank you very much. Firstly, I'd like to thank you, the organizers, and for inviting me here today. Rather than giving a talk, I just wanted to present a few points referring to my own personal opinion. But the thing is that after listening to all these talks, I'm probably going to repeat a lot of things that have already been mentioned. Firstly, I would like to talk about things that I've seen in the States that can be incorporated here. This will be a good thing. This doesn't mean that the US is the model to be followed. We must do the same as them. But there are some things that we can learn from them. And these are things that I want to talk about. Firstly, I would like to say that in the large American universities, they're not all homogeneous. They're not strange people. They're normal people. There's talent everywhere. And it doesn't mean just for the fact that the classes given in the universities, you learn things. In fact, the textbooks that are used in the classes there are often the same ones that they use here. And many of the classes that are given in Stanford, the university where I am, are sent by video and are offered free online. So anything that is studied here is within the reach of anybody. The main difference that I've seen with the students of these American universities and students from here is motivation. There is an enormous difference. The students there are there because they like being there, because they like it. They're enjoying what they are doing. They're looking for the way to learn more about what they do in class. And apart from having a very high level to pass, it's easier to pass because they expect the students to study on their own afterwards. Having a worldwide eminence in front of you is hopeless if you aren't able to take advantage of it. Any teacher, any university can explain the same thing. The interest of these universities is to try to go as far as possible and resort to the worldwide eminence to be able to do this. What I mean here is that motivation is a key part of the development of talent, and I think is where we have to work most on in Spain. I get the feeling that here in Spain, that instead of favoring or helping those who want to go further than normal, we put a lot of obstacles in, and it is not easy to leave what is the established guidelines. And this occurs in all the different fields in education, in the labor market, and society in general. Starting with education, do we have this concept of a pass? As Mr. Tauron has said very clearly, they want everybody to reach a pass, and all the students have to reach that level. And once you've passed, it doesn't matter. There's no motivation to go further than a pass. I understand that primary education is that. Everybody has to learn how to multiply, how to read. But this same philosophy is maintained in the secondary schools and university, and there has to be a high level so the students can have a lot of effort, put a lot of effort into the subjects that they don't like so much to be able to pass. And they can't spend time on the classes that they really like. I don't want to say that the only way possible is university. I'm talking about classes and that. But there are other talents too. If what you like is doing something is more applied, the university maybe isn't the right place to go. In Spain, we are obsessed with thinking that university is the beginning and end of everything. You have to have secondary school, university. The more years you bear, the better, and the more prestigious you'll be. I'm not the right person to say this because this is what I've done. But what I mean here is that if you're looking something more applied, maybe you have to learn a more direct way. It will probably satisfy you even more, especially the majority of the universities, the knowledge that is acquired is very theoretic. They're connected to the real world, especially more so in Spain, but it does occur in the US too. The professors don't place emphasis on the basic matter and to try to cover as much subjects as they want. So there are many. The students don't really know what they have to apply because both in the studies and the research, the majority of the time you use the basic material. You don't. So you have to the majority of most of the knowledge that you need to carry out a job, either research or in practice, you learn by practice. That is, you learn by doing things. So it isn't so useful to spend so many years at university and studying all of this. And this leads me to the second thing that I think would be important to implement here in Spain, and that is the summer practicals for students in the US. This is very well accepted. The students, young people from a very early age, start to work to earn money in summer, and this is part of their culture. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but at least at university level, it is a good thing to complement your theoretic training with the practical work. And this will be good for students and also for companies to have new ideas, to get new ideas, to try out the workers before they recruit them, and for other things too. But it doesn't exist so much in Spain, and this not just the enterprises, the companies aren't just to blame as the students are. So I think you have to foster this. Companies maybe don't want to take risks, because if they recruit talent, it's much more risky than recruiting dedication. If you have a person with experience, and if you want to benefit in the short term, dedication is much more profitable, of course, but the companies shouldn't do this so much, I don't think. The people, the individuals, don't have this concept of ambition to triumph that you can see in the States. There's a lot of fear of failure, both in terms of work and also in the creation of startups. That is where I've seen this the most. In Spain, we're afraid of starting up and failing, so we don't do it. And it's badly looked upon. If you try something and fail, you're looked as a failure. If you try and you triumph, people are envious of you, and they don't look upon you well either. So in Spain and Europe in general, the concept, if somebody does something, earns a lot of money, maybe it's not being very ethical, there's something wrong there. We don't have those models. The cult for success, as there is in the US. You've done this well, you've achieved it, and we're going to give you as an example for everybody else. This doesn't exist in Spain. I don't think it does in the rest of Europe, and this is something that should be changed too. People tend to look for stability, to look for comfort as quickly as possible. To develop talent, you need a lot of effort. And a great effort, and if you want to have a comfortable life from very early on, you won't develop that talent. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, because we have a comfortable life here in Spain. Everything works more or less okay, but this is a hostile environment to develop talent. It's not as easy to develop talent with that mindset. And after saying all of that, I don't want to say that in Spain it's not that good, but there are things that are good in Spain too. There are a lot of grants to study abroad, and that is marvelous. You have La Caixa, Caja Madrid, and there are many other ways of getting grants. And these grants pay everything. They pay your registry, the enrollment fees, etc. And maybe they're not easy to achieve, but due to this fear of failure in Spain, the stability that we're looking for, not many people ask for those grants. A person who is motivated and wants to achieve things, it's not going to be so difficult to find the grant as though they may think. I've known a lot of French students, but I haven't. There are none of them, or hardly any of them, that have grants from their governments. They often have to have bank loans or companies that pay for their studies, and they have to pay them back, or other different methods. In Spain, a lot of people can have grants, and they're fantastic grants to go and study abroad, and this is something we should take advantage of. Concluding, I don't want to talk for too long. The idea that I want to transmit is that the most important thing, especially in Spain, one of the most important things in Spain is we have to work on motivation. We have to encourage people who want to go further. The system must encourage people to go as far as they can, and they must be prepared to help those people who are fighting for them. And this is something that I think we don't do at the present time. Thank you very much for your attention.